Hello everyone, this is Veronica. Today we are going to talk about homeless Hilsa. Now you must be thinking, what is Hilsa? Hilsa is basically a fish, right? Its scientific name is Tenulosa elisha. Okay, but commonly it is known as Hilsa, or in some parts of India it is known as Elish also. It is referred as Elish also, right? So why we are talking today about this fish, you'll get to know when we'll discuss this lecture. For my video updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. This is a channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for any government exam, a pen drive and tablet courses are also available. For additional information, you can call on these numbers or you can visit our website too. The PDF of this lecture is available on our website in both the languages, Hindi and English. Now see, what is the issue? I will acquaint you with all the terms that we are going to use so that it will be easy, like in which direction we are forwarding, right? So now there is a plan to unlock Farakka for Hilsa recalls old debate on fish passes. Now here, what is Farakka? Now see, Farakka is a barrage made in an area. Farakka is an area itself where this Farakka Barrage is made, specifically in Murshidabad in West Bengal, right? So what is a barrage? Basically it is a diversion dam. It has lot of gates, okay, which can be regulated, which can be controlled for the flow of water, right? So any artificial obstruction over a river, it is known as a barrage. So Farakka was made around, it was started in 1961 and completed in 1970s, right? Very old project, but it has disrupted the ecosystem for this particular fish, that is Hilsa. And now we are talking to make a fish pass on Farakka Barrage. Like if suppose this is the river which is flowing, or like if this is the river, okay, and this is the barrage that we have made. So for example, if this particular fish Hilsa, it was its route. Okay, I will tell you what kind of route. It used to cross this area against the tides, but now because of this barrage, it is not able to cross this barrage. So that means we are disrupting the ecosystem for this fish. But now we are talking to make a fish pass, like on such areas, barrages or dams, we make a certain area, right, from where this fish could pass, right, and it could continue its life processes or whatever the annual migration ways are. So that is known as fish pass. We'll talk in detail also. And now, like many other debates, gastronomy is another debate. See, gastronomy, it is a study of relationship between food and culture, that is known as gastronomy. So Hilsa, there's a debate on gastronomy also, because people prefer to eat it, especially in the area Bangladesh, West Bengal, Assam, where people eat seafood, fish as a food, right? And there are a lot of myth, ecology, culture and history related with this fish also. Now there is another thing which is very important from your prelims point of view. The ocean fish that swims against the tide to spawn in rivers is moving away from Bangladesh. So this is the issue also. So basically this Hilsa, it is an ocean fish, but it is anadromous in nature. Now see, what is anadromous? See, anadromous is the fish which lives in salt water, but it migrates from salt water to the fresh water for spawning. Okay, for spawning. Here the word is written spawning. Now what is spawning? It is the time when the fish, adult fish, releases or deliver its eggs. So it does not deliver its eggs in the ocean. It only lives in the ocean. It is an ocean fish, but during the spawning time, it migrates towards the fresh water to spawn. Such kind of fishes are known as anadromous fish. The opposite of anadromous is catadromous. So catadromous is totally opposite of it. It is a freshwater fish which for spawning migrates to the salt water, right? So these are totally opposite in nature, like salmon, that is a freshwater fish that migrates to sea for spawning, right? So here now we'll talk about this Hilsa in detail. Now just see, among the long-standing gastronomy debates in the subcontinent is one of the relative merits of the Hilsa that comes from the Padma river in Bangladesh. So there is a competition between Padma river in Bangladesh versus the variety of Hilsa that is found in Ganga in India. Now the advocates of both varieties, they underline the distinctive sweet salty flavor of the silver scaled fish, while those in the east vouch of the fleshy texture. In the west rest their claims on what the fish does to the taste buds. That sweet salty flavor is apparently more pronounced in Ganga Hilsa. Now, like many other debates in gastronomy, the one on Hilsa too is about seamlessness of the legend, myth, ecology, history, culture, obviously, as I told you. And however, records to attest the certain facts among them are the ones that pertain to the annual journey of the fish. So here we are more concerned about this annual journey of this fish, right? As I told you, it is an anadromous fish. It lives in ocean, but it migrates to the fresh water. But now there is a problem in migration. From a long time, this is a problem. In fact, the formation of this particular Farakka Barrage, because earlier this fish used to cross this and even go to the western side of it also, up to Kaveri. Sometimes there were instances where it was found, but now its species is limited, and when we are disrupting its ecosystem, it is ultimately affecting its species also. Now let's talk about the journey of this fish, the Hilsa journey. Now you are well acquainted with this term, anadromous fish. So if you remember, now I've told you in the first slide, you can write it in the comment box. See, in scientific parlance, this Hilsa is an anadromous fish. It lives most of its life in ocean, as I told you, but during rainy season especially, now you should remember the season also, during the rainy season when there is time for spawning, this Hilsa moves towards estuary. Okay, it moves towards estuary. So what is estuary? Basically, this is the transition zone where river environment and marine environment interact with each other. It is a transition zone. As you know, all the rivers in the end, they meet the ocean or the sea. So they form the estuary there, where there is this transition environment exists. So now this Hilsa moves towards estuary where the rivers of India, Bangladesh meet the Bay of Bengal. I'll show you in the map also. Just remember for now. So a large part of this school travels upstream in the Padma and the Ganga. Some are known to move towards Godavari also. So usually they cross the ocean. If there is Bay of Bengal, they move towards the rivers from estuary towards Ganga, Padma in the Bangladesh, Ganga in India, and some of them even, it was known that they used to move towards the Godavari also. Okay, and there are records of Hilsa migration to Kaveri also. Okay, historical records also show that until 1970s, the Hilsa would swim to Ganga upstream to Allahabad and even to Agra. But the Farakka Barrage, which became operational on the Ganga in 1975, it disrupted the westward movement of the Hilsa. So this barrage had a navigation lock. I will tell you what is navigation lock later. That stopped the fish from swimming upstream beyond the Farakka. I hope this is clear now how the barrage stopped it. And even in Buxar on the border of Bihar and UP, the last recorded catch of the Hilsa was made around 32 years ago. Right, so this, now you know about Farakka Barrage. I already told you it was made in completed in 1975, and it is finally stopping this fish to go more westward. So here you can see the Farakka Barrage. It is somewhere here, right, and here it is Bangladesh. So downwards here it is Bay of Bengal, right, from here. So finally this fish travels all the way upstream towards the Padma river. This is Padma river, and even to the Ganga river in India. And before this Farakka Barrage was made, it used to cross this area also to Allahabad, sometimes to Godavari, Kaveri, even in Agra the traces were found. But finally when this Farakka Barrage is made, it is the concentration of this species is only found up to here. It is not able to cross now the Farakka Barrage. So that is why here we are trying to create a fish pass, artificial fish pass, from at least where this fish can pass. right? So this is the satellite view of the Farakka Barrage over the Ganga river. You can even see it in the Google Maps. Now let's talk about what are these Fishway experiments. See, government has, as I told you, unveiled a project to facilitate the movement of Hilsa to its spawning grounds of yore. Now the navigation lock at Farakka will be redesigned at a cost of rupees 360 crore to create a fish pass, right? So now let's talk about the fish passes here. See, fish passes are also known as fish ladders or fishways. So their aim is to assist fish in crossing obstacles presented by dams and barrages. So they usually consist of small steps that allow the fish to climb over the obstacles and enable them to reach the open waters on the other side. It requires controlling water running over these ladders. They must be adequate to catch the attention of the fish, but not too strong to deter them from swimming against it. So the rudimentary first fish ladders are said to have been forged out of bundles of tree branches that helped the fish actually to cross the difficult channels in Western Europe. So I'll talk about a little history here. In 1837, a Canadian lumber mill owner, Richard, patented the fish ladder designed to help fish bypass a dam at this water-powered mill. By 19th century, fish pass had become more common in US and Canada. But there are issues with these fish passes also, because they can fail also. See, the devising of a fish pass is fraught with uncertainty because it is almost impossible to prophesy the behavior of fish, and it is quite impossible to anticipate the nature of water also. The subject involves a working knowledge of hydraulics. Now see, we can work on the engineering part, but we don't know even after making a fish pass whether the fish will pass from this fish pass or not. And particularly the area which has been stopped from so many years after 1970s, fish is not crossing that. How can we trust? How can we do a prophecy that the fish will pass now, right? Because we cannot go and tell the fish, yes, we have made a pass for you, now go and pass, right? It is not like that. We cannot convince the fish, obviously. So there are the chances are totally 50-50% whether the fish will pass from this pass or not. And even if in certain studies they have shown that even if the fish passes from this particular created passes, if they crosses this pass, the number of fish which crosses this pass is very low, right? So here there is some of information for you what is a fish pass that you can read, but one more important thing here is that this is under Jal Marg Vikas Pariyojana. Fish pass is envisaged for the free movement of Hilsa at Farakka navigation lock, right? And now what is navigation lock? As I told you, navigation lock is a device that is used for raising and lowering boats and ships between stretches of water of different levels on river and other waterways. And there is a lot of significance of Hilsa fish also. It has a significant cultural importance in West Bengal besides being the national fish of Bangladesh. So Hilsa is a national fish of Bangladesh also. See, as I told you, there is a life cycle for this fish. For example, when it is in the river water, the eggs are released and the fish is out from the eggs. So firstly it will be juvenile fish, the very young fish, then it will transform into adult fish. So when after this juvenile fish is born, it travels back to the ocean water from the river water, and when this juvenile fish becomes the adult fish, just like its mother, it again goes back to the river water for spawning. So this life cycle, this process continues. It is on repeat. Now, as I told you, with respect to gastronomy, see, sometimes earlier times in Hindu culture in Bangladesh, just because of the cultural reasons, people used not to have the juvenile fish. They will let it grow and become adult fish. So during Saraswati Puja and all, they did not eat the juvenile fish. Moreover, there is a scientific reason behind it also. If the people will feed on juvenile fish, it will reduce the number of fishes also. So it should be allowed to let them grow to adult fish. So recently, when their numbers were dropping low, even Bangladesh banned the catching of juvenile fish, and there were raids in the fish markets also. But these days people don't care about traditions much, right? So the more money people are having, they're spending to eat juvenile fish also, because it is considered more tasty. But we need to protect the ecosystem of Hilsa fish and juvenile fish. The catching of juvenile and eating of juvenile fish should be stopped, right? So now let's see, there is no clear path yet. What does that mean? See, there's a study of 2013 by an American ecologist, Jed Brown. He noted that state-of-art of fish passage facilities have been unsuccessful. Some migratory species such as sturgeons do not pass through at all. As I already told you, we cannot judge the behavior of the fish once the fish pass has been made. But even the species that do make it, that do cross the barrage or the obstructions through, so in numbers far less than the stated targets. So earlier, if they used 100 fishes used to cross, now maybe only 20 or 30. So that's not much of a usage to a fish, right? Ecosystem, marine ecosystem. So here we need to find out a way, like how we can protect how we can strike a balance between development and different ecosystems, as it is very important to preserve the diversity of the marine ecosystem, land ecosystem, or whatever ecosystem we can talk about, right? So this is about today's lecture. If you have any queries, you can contact me on social media. Thank you.